Hi friends, this is Sarah from Crafting and Relaxing. Welcome. Thank you so very much for joining me. Today I am here to do a collab with Beth from Bourbon Creek Crafts. Our collab is to use our basic gray stash. Beth had this great idea. She knows that we both have basic gray in our stash. If you don't, I'll give you some ideas about equivalent papers or styles of paper, so it could still help you use some complex papers that are in your stash. I made 3 cards and I'll talk you through them. Since it's just the 2 of us in this collab, we figured that we could take a little longer on our videos and tell you some things about what we have here. So I'm gonna zoom out, show you my mess a little more. I might make you another video where I show you the other papers that I have stashed from Basic Gray. Today I'm using Paper Cottage. This one has some really interesting colors in it. If I was choosing papers, I wouldn't necessarily think to put these 2 colors together. And that's one of the things that I loved about Basic Gray paper collections. Basic Gray does fabric now, not paper. But you can pick their stuff up sometimes, garage sales, eBay, online. Some places they still have it, but not at a retailer near you. I like the color combinations and the really detailed patterns. It's a little bit shabby or grunge, but in a very feminine style, and you can see what I'm talking about. And this paper is from 2012, so it was quite a while ago, and it has a lot of distressed look to it. Really, the Basic Gray papers always had a lot of interest in their colors, their patterns, a lot of texture and things going on. You wouldn't necessarily in a Basic Gray pad see animals that you would cut apart or big smiley faces or cutesy things. You would see more of an elegance and a detail to the papers. So what happens is sometimes you get these fancy papers in your stash and you think, what am I going to do with them? The other thing is their colors in this paper pad, they are surprising. To see these 2 pieces of paper in a pad. I've talked before about brands that make paper really easy to mix and match and use. Basic Gray might not be one of those, especially if you're not comfortable mixing patterns. These are adorable. I think I might fussy cut some of these and have like little table settings. And just really different. When you take Basic Gray pads and look at their different papers, you wouldn't necessarily see a whole bunch of things that look the same. They brought a lot of variety to the paper market at a time when other people weren't filling that detailed pattern and elegance kind of look. It's just, I don't know how you describe elegance and grunge, maybe detail and grunge. So let me show you what I did with them. First of all, this is a challenge pad for me. It's been sitting in my stash. I have picked some of the papers out, so it wasn't a full pad when I started. And they're hard colors to use, tricky papers, but I just love them. If you take the time to work with them and really think about it, you can make such amazing things. Let's start with this one and I'll show you what I used and give you an idea. So this pattern pulled in all those different colors. I couldn't quite tell if this was a dark gray or a chocolate. I didn't have anything that I could grab that with. So I put a bit of black behind my die cut here. And these papers are both from the pad so that they match just great. And then I fussy cut these flowers. I'm not sure if I have a piece of that paper anymore. Probably not, or I would have fussy cut it. So this one right here. So I went through and I fussy cut some of those out. And then I put glossy accents on the front. And when you use glossy accents, you've got to step away from it and let it dry. If you're me and you don't walk away, you will touch it, or you have to put the flowers away from you to dry. Then I took some flowers that I had in my stash, and these are actually, some of them are white, which for this paper collection, there really isn't white in it, but I did it anyway. And I layered them with cream colored flowers and mixed them in. Then I grabbed just some little jewels that I had sitting around. They are maybe a hair on the blue side, but the funny thing is the smaller ones were a touch more green, so I think it works just fine. And I used my punch, a Martha Stewart punch, down here at the bottom of the paper to reinforce this kind of scalloped pattern and the dots that are on this paper. I just had a little fun with that pattern, and I couldn't decide what I wanted to do at the top. Maybe I should have repeated it up there. I think I might have liked that better. And I don't mean to say I don't like this card. It's just if I was going to make another one just like it, I think I would punch across the top. But I was experimenting with a vertical thing. I expected it to be narrower, more of a rectangle to really make it pop. I had fun making it. It took me a lot of forever because this is so many pieces. And then on the inside, I just used a tiny scrap because I'm being very miserly with this paper. That was my first card. Then I wanted to use this paper and really let it shine. And that gets tricky because what do you do with a paper that says, "Oh me, oh my, whispered delight," and has bird cages and flowers and teacups? There are some sketches that I've seen where you can cut like a large die cut of it and have a circle, but there was just so much going on. I decided to have a large background of it and leave that really bold red, and I used cream colored card bases for these because I thought it went better with the paper. And then I just put butterflies up it. This one is a die cut, and then these three are from the punch that Cruisin' with Crystal got me hooked on last year. So I bought it. It's in my Amazon store, so it's down in the description. If you click the link to my Amazon store, you can go check it out. It's kind of addicting. And I stapled the center, and this one's a die, but these little ones are from that punch. And they just lend themselves so well to putting on cards. And especially you can punch the two of them and layer them up. I didn't do that in this case, but you can. And I inked the edges a tiny bit. That might not show. And I have a little trail right here for that butterfly. I'm thinking for this card, I didn't want to do it before I made the video because of dry time, but I was thinking about putting glossy accents on the teacups here and there, and maybe putting some crystal stickles because it's probably going to have this greenish glistening color in it in the centers of the flowers. What do you think? Too much, or go for it? I'd like to hear your ideas on that. Then on this one, in the same pad, you'll notice they have this very detailed pattern in two colors. So when I looked at that, I thought it would be fun to mix and match them. I took some scissors and I sat down and I did a fussy cut trim around the edge to accent that shape. Then I inked it with just a bit of tea dye, distressed tea dye, and layered it on there. And I lined it up so that these popped out each side just to really accent those fun circle shapes. Then I had a die cut butterfly, and this is from the paper collection. I love all those dots. There's like a million circles on this card. I put some bling up the center just because it was a little plain without it. And an old stamp. Life is either a daring adventure or nothing at all. Anybody who tells you that you have to keep your stamps clean for them to last a long time, this is from 1997. And this is how I treat my stamps, and it made this image today after like the second stamp. So you have to, warm it up a little, but it was good. This flower, again, I fussy cut it and put the glossy accents in the middle. And I experimented a little. I was trying to see what I could do with color with peacock feathers. It's a little more blue, but I still like it. It worked for me on this card because I had the pink underneath it and this accent, so it lifted it up a little. It wasn't like glued down flat on there. And all I did was just take a paintbrush. I think I used one of these water brushes. So I put a tiny bit of ink down on a piece of plastic. You can use your mat, whatever. And then I just dabbed at it and put it on there. Those are the 3 cards I made. I probably will use a different collection next month because I have some other ones and I want to go through them and play. Like I said, I probably will make a video to show you so you can kind of vote on what collections you want to see next in this collab because the colors are all completely different. Look at this one. We have to use this one at some point. Wisteria. It's purple and green. Wonderful. Basic Gray, I tell you, they knew how to do paper right. So I hope that you enjoyed that and that you'll tell me what you think about the glossy accents and the stickles. Oh, and here's the flowers I used. The cream colored ones were Little Birdie from Tuesday Morning long ago. And the others I picked up in Mally. Check out Beth. I will link to her down below at Bourbon Creek Crafts. If you're new to her channel, then you should definitely check out her other videos because she has been so supportive and inspirational for me, and I do appreciate her. Thanks everybody for watching, and take care. Bye-bye.